Hi, I'm Sukanya, and this is Sukanya the podcast, the show where grassroots stories, walks, and indie music come together in the most beautiful places my guest shares with me. Today, I'm at High Dam Tarn in the Furness Fells. It's another walk that's new to me, and I really enjoyed taking it all in whilst enjoying the chats with my guest today. It has everything: gentle slopes, woodland, and of course, water. My guest today is Lara Roocroft, a counsellor and trainee psychotherapist, a yoga teacher, a gong bath facilitator, a mother, and someone who's lived in 3 countries, navigated more change than most of us could imagine, and is, by her own account, still beautifully figuring herself out. Isn't that wonderful? In this episode, we talk about what it means to move from survival mode into something that actually looks and feels like a life you've chosen. About why we seek help too late, in therapy, in love, in all of it really. About the 7-year-old you who might still need a hug. And about the words we use when no one else is listening. You know, those conversations we have with ourselves. How we talk to ourselves is so important, and perhaps this chat will prompt you into tuning into that a bit more. So let's see how we go. Before we set off, I'd love to shout out my season 3 music partner. A huge thank you to Persimmon for being our music partner this season. I love to support indie musicians and particularly love Persimmon's sound and lyrics. I'm really grateful that they chose to get involved with the podcast, so thank you. You'll hear the music woven throughout this episode as always. If you're new here, thank you for joining us today, and if you're a regular listener, thank you for tuning back in. It's great to have you back. Right then, let's get those boots on, or those dreadful chores on the go, and let's walk. Hi Lara.
Hi Sukanya.
How are you?
I'm well, very well. Happy to be here with you today.
Me too. I'm so excited we're doing this.
Thank you.
How was your drive?
How was what?
How was your drive?
My drive was good.
Yeah.
I took the wrong turn and was going towards the groomer's house instead. But
we're
I'm
here
now.
Yeah.
Awesome. High Dam.
Yeah, High Dam. So why are we at High Dam? Why is this a good walk for you?
I've been in this area for 3 years. I live in Grange of the Sands.
Yeah.
I was in London for 14 and a half before I moved here.
Wow. So that's quite a move.
Yeah. Big time. And this was one of the first walks I did.
Yeah.
And it's so friendly. It's a little bit uphill, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's very doable. I brought my 74-year-old auntie last weekend.
Yeah.
And she was okay. Fine. She enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's a walk that's
good.
Quite leisured and nice to do, and it's beautiful. Yeah. And you can swim in the dam.
Oh, amazing.
So it's lovely, yeah.
Very
and it's
excited.
Really beautiful.
So what inspired the move to England? Let's start there. Where did you move from?
Well, I moved from Brazil in 2007.
And is that where you grew up?
It's where I was born and I grew up. So I finished a language degree there, and I had the opportunity to come for 6 months to study English, and it's been 18 and I'm still here. 18 years.
So you obviously enjoyed the life here.
I enjoyed
the lifestyle.
This country has been more gentle to me than my homeland. Okay. Yeah, life was harder in Brazil.
So what were you doing in London for 18 years?
Well, I started as in the care work as a carer, because I had a nursing qualification back home. And then eventually I did a nursing degree. I've been in the healthcare profession for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm training as a psychotherapist. But
so still a service kind of industry?
Yeah, it is. I think that's part of the mission.
Yeah, that's your calling, do you
My
think?
calling, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's
in different
really
ways,
nice.
different paths, but more or less, I used to think that I was helping people, but mostly it's helping myself to grow and expand.
Oh, wow.
You know, we have this idea that we are helping people, but
we're learning from it.
We're learning from it, and we're healing from it as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that's a really nice perspective.
In a very, a nutshell, but there's more to it, I think.
This is beautiful.
It is lovely.
It is. Never forget to stop and look back.
Yeah. Have you been here?
I haven't.
Oh,
I haven't. No. I've been to the Stott Bobbin Mill and did a tour in there. Have you done that before?
No.
That's really cool. There's a lot of history there about making little bobbins for thread. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But I never came up this way.
I've tried to stick to what I know, but I know there's so many beautiful walks here.
Yeah.
You really need to explore, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely.
It is, yeah.
Oh.
We can have a swim as well.
Yeah. I didn't bring my stuff, actually.
No, me neither. Maybe next time.
Next time. Yeah, I like the idea of actually what starts out as I think I'm helping someone is actually helping me. And how did that look for you?
In healthcare, it started when I started. I was 18. I'm 50 now.
Yeah.
So
you're not 50. Stop it.
Thank you. So it started it gave me a meaning, a purpose in life. So I was going to, when I started training as we called it nursing technician back home in Brazil, which is equivalent like a nursing associate here in this country now. So I found purpose. I really enjoyed being with people. It was, I was starting my adult life, and I really found that I was doing something meaningful.
Yeah.
People were valuing my work, and that found. So in a way, I was helping people, but I was finding meaning, and I was finding myself in that new environment, and as a grown up.
Did you find it quite an intimidating environment to go into?
I found myself in my element at the time,
really?
Surprisingly, I used to get, this is so interesting because I don't often talk about this, but I found sometimes people were a bit suspicious, like, are you sure you're qualified? You look so young.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
But then, and now, interestingly enough, I see my 19-year-old niece going through similar.
Really?
She looks really young, and she's doing the same thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And training to be a nurse.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So how did you navigate that? How did you kind of carry that through and dispel those perceptions?
I think for many years I was in the survival mode. So it was just part of my life. It was what I did. Yeah. And I found meaning. But I wasn't really thinking about the psychological aspects of it. It was just what it was. Yeah. And then much later, when I moved to the UK, I was in the survival again because I was 32 and I had 2 kids. So I brought the boys with me. Yeah. So it was survival mode for a while. And it has been changing quite significantly for the past decade, really. And especially now that I'm doing the psychotherapy training, it's really life-changing in terms of self-awareness, but not only self-awareness, it's like going to those places that sometimes very uncomfortable, but also learning how to have self-compassion. So it's different. There has been a big shift since
in yourself,
in myself, and also in regards to my relationship with my nursing career.
Okay. Yeah. In what way? How can you help us understand that?
Well, one simple way is the feeling that I was helping people before, and now actually this is my mission. It's something I do for myself, and it's a curiosity to get to know myself. And that is also a discovering of who am I really in my core. Am I my profession? Am I my OCD or my critical thinking? Or my survival, parts.
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? And I think it's something not all of us invest enough time in, and maybe because of that we put a lot of expectation on other people
it's
to
easy,
fill those gaps.
To expect the other people
to have the answers.
To have the answer, to have we We expect to have the perfect job where we feel valued, we feel rewarded, we find meaning, and we earn good money. So what do I bring, you know? And it's same with relationships. Disney contribute to that, didn't it?
I know, so Disney. I'm still waiting for the prince on a horse.
So we have this, many of us have this idealized version that the prince will come. I'm talking about women, but it's probably true for men as well. This ideal person will come and he'll get me, and then
it'll just be perfect. Happy. Yeah, we just have to look at each other, and the sparks will fly, and everything fits into place.
Yeah.
But actually, if we don't know ourselves,
exactly,
how does that work?
Exactly, and we can only do what is for us to do. We can only save ourselves, not the other. So that's been pretty much part of my journey as well, like how to be in relationship. Not only with my husband now, but with people in general, you know. In all aspects.
Because every friendship is a relationship you're nurturing, isn't it? I think we kind of forget that sometimes, and we take our long-term friendships for granted almost, and actually you still need to nourish them, and you still need to put that plant food in, and
you need to do some maintenance. And also friends, you have to, especially long-term, for how long you've been friends with your best friend, for example?
35 years.
35 years.
Yeah.
So is he a him? She.
Yeah.
So can you say her name?
Probably better not to.
Okay.
Because I've not checked with
her. Anne. Let's call her Anne.
Let's call her Beyonce.
Beyonce. So you're friends with Beyonce for 35 years.
Yeah.
So you have changed a lot in 35 years. You went through difficulties. You changed the place where you live, or partners. Whatever happened to you. And so did she.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how you check in with each other, you know, because we're very good at holding people to how we knew them before. Like
you
our family.
a version of a person, don't you?
Our family do that. They want to remember us from, like, for me, for example, it's like I used to be very reactive and an angry teenager. So they still hold me. Even though
still that person.
They still being like, oh, you're so reactive. And I was like, you don't know me anymore, you know? And that wasn't me. I was reactive because there was something going on. But that's not the real me. So, and Sukanya remains being the real her. Since always, the core, the essence, the self with the capital S. But lots of things, layers changed, lots of the stuff around you has changed. So how do you check with your friends where you are, and you follow, and you have interest, and you have curiosity?
That's key, isn't it? Have curiosity and ask your friends the questions, or the people in your life. And I guess really importantly, your family, because you're probably holding these preconceived notions about them as well.
Yes, we have to look at ourselves, because we do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not because we have the awareness we are immune.
No, exactly. That's actually, once you have the awareness, you're almost more, I was going to say under pressure, but more accountable to yourself to do the work and really question how you're reacting to someone else, because
but sometimes, depending how you see awareness, my belief, it can be overrated, because you can have the awareness. You know, awareness is important. I'm not saying otherwise. Awareness is important, but sometimes if you have so much awareness, you might start being hypercritical about things and monitoring, and you may lose authenticity because you're so worried about the awareness and how. Well, I'm going to have curiosity about my friend, so I'm going to ask her questions. But more important than awareness is the authenticity. It's for you to be in touch with your feelings. And this is difficult, like now in my clinic. And it's so humbling, because I'm starting a new profession for the past 2 years. I see private clients.
It's amazing.
And then you ask, but how do you feel about it? And people just don't know. So they cannot express how they feel. Or if I ask, what do you need? People, and myself included, say, I don't know what I need. So we expect the other to read our mind, preempt our needs, but we don't know what they are.
And then get annoyed when those needs are not met.
Exactly.
So how do you not know me, Lara?
Exactly. You failed me.
And that's quite a brave move. Was it a brave move to switch careers at this time?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
You really asked brilliant questions, I have to say.
Thanks.
And it feels so natural.
I'm being curious.
Exactly. Okay.
Next time I see you.
This is a great example because you've been genuinely curious. I can tell.
Yeah.
You're not just like, okay, I have a script here and I have to follow.
Yeah.
You're being authentic, and that's brilliant,
thanks, mate.
For a podcast, especially.
Thank you.
It was a crisis of meaning. When you reach a point that it happens for the different people in different ways. Like if you ask my colleagues, they might have come to a psychotherapy training for different reasons. For me, it was a crisis of meaning. I reached a point that I was in so much emotional pain and loneliness. I had failed relationships, romantic relationships. I was dating my husband now for 5 years on and off, and it wasn't going anywhere. It was so problematic. And I just had enough. I just reached to a point that something had to change. And I found a lot of discomfort inside. So what we tend to think is like that emotional pain we want to get rid of. We want to go to the GP and ask for a pill. And sometimes the pill is necessary.
It gets you going.
It gets you going. But going through that dark path, the dark night of the soul, that you're going through that emotional pain, looking, why am I feeling this? It might be a call for something to emerge.
You have to allow that space.
And how do we do that? We don't want that.
And also I think when that happens, we panic and we think, oh my God, I'm broken. I'm just going to make my day busier and busier.
And we eat more, we drink more, we find a drug that soothes
go out
us.
more, we do whatever to avoid it. Amazon, I know, I cancelled Amazon.
Good.
Other retailers are available. But
local business
local business. That's my new addiction. But it's true. You just kind of fill your bucket with so much other stuff,
and we find the excuse. I'm supporting the local business.
Yes,
so
exactly. I mean, I'm doing my duty. But that's really true. So how did you address it then?
I wasn't super conscious of what was happening. I knew I needed to change. Something needed to change. And I started. At first, I thought the things coincide, and this is about synchronicity as well. You use your will. To do something. But life takes. If you align your will, if you're swimming
against
with the current, the currents, all things fall into place.
If you're trying to go against it, that's when you have issues.
So sometimes, it's a good thing to check with whatever.
Should we just wait here and let these people pass?
It's a lot of people. So sometimes it's a good thing to check with whatever your belief system is, or even if it's
it's a very panty dog.
Even if you're an atheist, for example, you can check with your higher self, yourself, or it may be God, universe, higher spirits, whatever name you want to call,
you want to call it,
or whatever you believe or speaks to your heart. It's good to check to see if you're on the right track, if that resonates with you, with your mission. If you can ask for guidance, or, in the way that works for you. For each person is maybe different. But it's about finding that unifying center where you can check in. Okay, why did I incarnate in this body, in this life, in this? Am I following my mission? What am I missing here?
What is my purpose?
What is my purpose? And what is the very next step here, small one in front of me, that will be aligned with their purpose? And people might have different ways to access that sacred space. I guess for you is to be in nature. This is a guess.
I love it.
To be in nature and to
nature is my therapy. Like walking is my therapy. I just go walking on my own. I love it. Sometimes with music, mostly with music, sometimes no music. And your thoughts just run free, don't they? Even with music, sometimes that helps.
And I imagine you get insights when you
kind of do some of my best thinking. So if I've got so I'm an IT consultant by trade. Everyone's like, what does that mean? Sounds really boring. But basically, I'm a business analyst, so I work between the business and the techie people to tell them what is broken in the business. And so sometimes, in order to document that, you have to be able to communicate quite well with two very different sets of people, and then document it in a way that's relatable to both sets of people, all sets of people. And so sometimes you have to just go for a walk and let things marinate. And then when you come back, it just happens. Yeah. But if you just kind of sit there staring at something, it doesn't change. It doesn't move on.
And you're giving a perfect example. You have a job role that is very mind-oriented, very matter of fact here. Yes. But there is the relational part of the job that you have to be in psychosynthesis, which is the style I train. We call it right relational. Okay. Is how do you speak your needs, you're honest, and you relate well with others. You know. Yeah. So you have to practice that, and you're telling me that for you to be able to relate with the people involved, sometimes you have to pause, take a step back, and you find a way to fill your cup to have that in nature. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know it, so each person might be different. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you need to just pause the day and watch a movie and then come back to it. Something, isn't it? It's to disrupt that pattern of, oh my God, nothing's happening. It's to check and ask ourselves, what do I need now? Yes. What can I do for myself? Yes. You know, because we sometimes can get hooked on, I'm helping others, I'm doing it for others. But actually you get as cliche as it sounds, like, can I fill my cup first? How can I do that? Yeah, they always say put your life jacket on first, don't they? Because if you don't work, nothing else works. Yeah. And also you could be doing all these things, amazing, really helpful things for other people. And at the end of the day, you get to bed and you feel empty. And that's the bit I think sometimes we're guilty of trying to avoid, because that's the hard bit, is trying to understand why we're feeling empty. But this is, why, but what is missing? What is it trying to tell me? Yeah. You know, and what I sense, correct me if I'm wrong, what I sense is like you might have enjoyed your work, but there was a calling for you to be creative, to have something more and do something that you create, innovating. Exactly. And hence the podcast. Exactly. Yeah. So it's listening to that call, because we can just, I don't have time for this. Yeah. But it's testing, isn't it? So in my case, it was testing, because I thought, actually, I talk to a lot of people every day and I love it. So why don't and I love walking. So why don't I walk and talk to people and see what comes up, because then it's more natural. Makes your heart sing. Yeah. It sounds like, I love it. Yeah. And then I get to hang out with people like you. Yeah. And you educate me. and vice versa. And another thing I imagine is very important to do what you're doing is to let go of the perfection at first, isn't it? Because we very often we don't even take off any idea, because we think it has to be, we believe that it has to be in a certain way. Yes. And it's quite the opposite. You have to start and then you adjust what can be improved. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a really good point, because actually if I was going for perfection, it wouldn't be out yet. Yeah. Like over a year later, it wouldn't be out. And the first series, the hardest bit was listening to myself. I was like, oh my God, this is so awkward. I don't want to hear my own voice. How are you with that now? You made peace? Yes. Yeah, now it's fine. I don't even think about it. How did you do that? How did you manage to? Well, I recorded the intros and outros for my season 1, and I couldn't listen to it for 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks of torture. Then I thought, you're an idiot. You hear yourself every day. You talk every day, so just get on with it. And so I had to let go of the judgment on myself. You have to have self-compassion and acceptance. Be kind to myself and say, this is who you are. And people love you. So love yourself. Yeah. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate your voice. Yeah, it's spot on. And it's not easy to do because we are so conditioned, and also criticism as well, because people who are critics, people who criticize, critics of books or restaurants, or so they stand there to see the flaws.
Yes, they're looking for it.
And critics in general, maybe not those professionals, I can't speak for that, but many people who have had a dream, had something calling them, but they chose not to listen to that.
Right.
They might be the first ones to criticize and find the flaws.
Yeah.
But when you listen to criticism, I don't know if you got any negative review or some criticism, it can be really painful.
Yeah.
But how do we carry on with that,
I mean, to be honest, I kind of, with the whole social media world, and generally with the way I tend to conduct my life, is you have to have your focus and your confidence in what you're doing. And sure, people always have a comment, and it's always other people. Who are these people, Lara?
No, but I think it's perfect what you're saying. Perfect in it. Yeah. Perfect in
quotes,
because for that we have to, in psychosynthesis we talk about disidentification, which is, for example, okay, you have your opinion, you don't like my jumper, for example, and I can get really offended. I can identify with your opinion and think there's something wrong with me, or the way I dress, or
my choices,
or your choices, or who you are. But I can say, like you said, who are these people? Okay, it's your opinion. So I disidentify. I don't take it personal.
What do you say, disidentify?
Disidentify,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard that term before.
It's a psychosynthesis terminology.
Okay.
So you disidentify when you see it from a distance. You take a step back and you see the bigger picture. And you just, okay, so they might have their reasons to say that. But doesn't say, doesn't reflect on who I am. It might do sometimes. I can take some criticism or feedback to see, but you also can see when it's genuine, when people want to give you feedback for you to grow, and when they want to say, like, well,
just for put down sake, isn't it? That's really interesting. Okay, so with psychosynthesis then, how did you land on that topic particularly? Because there's so many different ways to psychoanalyze, I suppose.
Yes, that's another great question. Thank you. So psychoanalysis is the analysis, in a nutshell, is the analysis of the psyche. So you look at the psyche and you look about, if you think about Freud and Jung, you look at to the attic, the suppressed energy, your traumas and your stuff that you suppress, and to start with. And psychosynthesis is a synthesis of all parts of you, the psyche, the suppressed stuff as well, but all your emotions, your here and now, and also the caveat, the big difference with psychosynthesis, because it has this excuse me, a spiritual aspect of it. So when I look at Sukanya, I can, if you were to be my client, for example, or just as a friend or someone I know,
I have to say I'm quite enjoying my free session right now.
I would see perhaps a woman who has a will, who goes there and create and is freeing herself of any demands from society that tells her she has to do a podcast in a certain way. So she's doing her thing and daring to be authentic. So that's one way to look at you from this snapshot I get now. Okay. So, but I can go further, and psychosynthesis gives that I can open my heart and aim to see. It's not always easy because we get our own projections as well. So I aim to see you with my heart open. So who are you with, your spiritual self, who you are in your core, why did we cross paths?
That's really interesting, because actually when we first meet anyone, you can't help it. We're wired to judge people, aren't we? And you have to really catch yourself to be a good person, start at 100%, don't put your hang-ups on someone else, and just see how that relationship grows and how your interaction is. And with some people it doesn't go so well, and that's okay, because they're not your people, but you might still be acquaintances, for example. But when it's in a professional setting, you don't know who's going to walk through that door, and they're coming to you for help, and to be helpful, you have to let go of all that, don't you?
Yeah, but you know, you're still a human. You're a therapist, but you're still a human. Sometimes, you know, you can have someone in your consulting room whom you think, oh, I wouldn't like to be friends with this person. But then, can I check on my own projections and say, what does it tell about me?
Yeah.
Can I put this to the side and have my heart open and hear this person, listen to this person with compassion and hold whatever they bring. And it's, you know, and I was really fearful of that at first. When I started, I thought, oh, I hope I get clients I like.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky so far. But there are things I feel like, oh, and then I catch myself, I'm being judgmental about this. You know, so we all have, we call it projections. So I have my projections there. How can I look at my projections, be aware of them, and I said, can I put to the side and allow this person to have an experience, or me to have an experience of this person's presence? Like, you know, blank page.
Thank you for that. We were talking about, so you were mentioning Freud and Jung. Who are they, for anyone that's not aware?
So Freud is the founder of psychoanalysis.
Okay.
And but can I tell you about Roberto Saggioli instead, who is the founder of psychosynthesis?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Roberto Saggioli was a contemporary of Jung, and he was very young when Freud was still, like, you know, Freud was called the father of psychoanalysis. But I don't have a lot of experience about Freud and Jung
that's fine
to talk about them. So Roberto Saggioli was an Italian psychiatrist from Florence, and so he was studying psychotherapy from the early days when psychotherapy wasn't still a established profession. But he was very ahead of the time, so he was already thinking about the spiritual being, the spiritual self. So when Freud starts saying things about, talking about hysteria, or a lot about suppressed sexuality. So Saggioli was already, even though he was very young, he was already thinking there's more to it, not everything. So some stuff may be repressed sexuality, but it's not.
It's not, you know, the answer to everything.
It's not the answer to everything, you know. There is a film called Hysteria. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
It's a really interesting film. I might not remember like the details now to tell you. But, you know, there was a treatment for hysteria back in the day where...
I'm scared to hear what you're going to be saying.
So, I don't know how much I can say here, but it's a really interesting film to watch. It's based in real facts, obviously. And how hysteria was seen, like it was a problem women had. It was a failure, you know, the fact women had, being having hysteria.
That's scary.
And so doctors were treating hysteria with massage. So to help women to have orgasm, so that release, and from that practice, they came to invent the vibrator. So I don't know how much is true, but some of it is true. There's a film. The film is really interesting.
Crikey.
And so we moved on from that, you know. So if we use now, like, for example, if I think about in those terms of psychosynthesis, using your will and asking for what you need might be in a relationship to say, like, how you like sex, or how you don't like sex, or do you want to be approached?
Such an important conversation.
Do you want?
It?
Do you have? How do you have orgasm? You know, there's empowering. So it's more than your.
And I think it also brings couples together. I just don't think as society we talk about sex enough openly. Because it is such a fundamental part.
It's a life energy, it's a life force. Quite literally.
It's essential. It's essential for all humans. So to kind of dismiss it and say it's not important is, to me, you're denying yourself something that you just, as a basic human being, needs.
And
that's interesting.
And perhaps treatment for what they used to call hysteria is a woman having her needs met.
Yes,
having,
exactly.
Instead of, like, for example, back in the day, Esther Perel is a specialist, do you know her?
No.
She's a specialist in relationships. She's absolutely brilliant. And she talks about this. Historically, what would we expect from a marriage was a husband who was a provider and a secure base, being a good father was secondary. It's a very new thing.
Yeah,
and being a good husband, or I mean, we have responsibilities as well.
Yeah, of course.
But our responsibility was to raise the kids. Different now.
Yeah.
So society has changed significantly. So we know now that at least women, hopefully, we know that for us to be content in the relationship, men might need. I don't know what men need. I can't speak for them, but their needs are different. Yes. So if they have good sex and beer or watch TV, I'm stereotyping here. Forgive me, men.
Yeah.
But for women, I can speak better about that. We don't need only sex. We need a connection before sex.
Yeah.
We need to be seen.
Emotional.
We need to be
nurtured.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
And that might be.
It's less functional, isn't it? It's less practical. Yeah. It's those little moments where you think, oh my God, he saw me. He got it. He gets it. He knows that I need that cushion under my feet right now. And I'm not saying that I need a butler, but maybe I do need a butler.
And sometimes they don't know. They cannot preempt or read our minds, but
so we
can express that, and that's how we use our power. In a healthy way to say, like, look, and not say, oh, it would be good, or so and so.
Exactly.
The other couple,
passive
aggressive. Is to actually say, I would like to experience this. I would like you to tell me I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
It would be really lovely to hear. Can you give
beautiful.
me that?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But then taking responsibility instead of saying, like, oh, you never noticed me, or
that's a very victim sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. And actually very draining for you as the victim in your own story, to constantly be thinking, oh my God, no one ever listens, no one ever does these things, but you're not actually saying what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not going to happen.
And the thing with victims, probably most victims, people who victimize themselves, they have been victims, or they might carry like a generational thing where they were victims.
Yeah.
And it becomes like part of who they are, like a sub-personality.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to let go.
It's a big defining part of your character then, isn't it? Yeah.
And sometimes you get rewarded from being a victim, know. If I make my husband feel guilty for something he did, he might want to make up for me, and then
buy me some diamonds.
But it's unhealthy. So you have to really be willing to get out of the
morning.
Be willing to get out of the victim mode, which is hard if there's a comfort place for you to be. And that's also how you get to be
you're getting
seen.
Attention.
You're getting attention.
Yeah.
So
how do you break the cycle?
So how can we empower yourself? You know? And sometimes we women, we think that empowering yourself is just having financial independence, doing what we like, but being vulnerable in that place and say, like, look, I had this is a bit personal to me. I had a pattern of being a victim because my mom was always emotionally blackmailing us, and now sometimes I have a tendency to do it with you, but I want that to change. Can you help me? And I can be empowered to say what I really want.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I feel a bit emotional. Yeah. But that's such a big step for you, isn't it?
Big
to recognize it and step outside the box and speak to the people around you to say, I need your help to move past this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Lara. Psychosynthesis then is more than standard, textbook therapy, isn't it? So what does it look like? So I've come to your office.
Great question again. So the client doesn't really need, unless they ask or they read my website or watch the YouTube videos that are available, including a friend of mine. I'm doing with a friend series of videos on psychosynthesis.
What's your YouTube channel called?
It's The Gift of Psychosynthesis.
Oh,
yeah, we have like 5 videos there. We interview people who are well known in psychosynthesis, including people who wrote books. There's the author of a book called The Primal Wound.
Okay.
Which is the wound, I'm digressing here,
That's
is the wound of non-being, you know, when you're not seeing as a child, or you have traumatic events, which all of us had. Yeah. But if we had traumatic events and you weren't held and supported and looked after as you were supposed to be by your caregivers. And we have other authors, and also the founder of the Institute of Psychosynthesis in London. So he features, he's one of, so
I'll go and check it out.
Yeah.
I will subscribe.
Thank you. So the difference is the client might be, you know, I had clients who are atheist, so they don't have to have a belief system to choose to be in therapy with me. But what I aim is it's called psychosynthesis, is called the psychology of hope. I try to see the potential, not where the person, not where the person is at that moment, but what is the potential, you know, because it's so easy to see people. Usually 99% of people come to therapy because they are in a crisis, so it's easy to see the crisis and underground what are the patterns, and you know what your childhood traumas and your past history and your current history. But the psychosynthesis invites us to see the potential, the higher self, and what it can be. What can you be if you are the real you? So if we take all the layers and you and your element and your best self, how does that look like? And
that's fab. Wow. Because also when you were explaining psychotherapy, I was thinking actually we seek help too late, don't we? We need to be a bit more proactive about these things and get to know ourselves before the trauma hits in a way that we can't see through it. Maybe.
I agree. I think especially couples therapy. So people goes to couples therapy when it's already it's broken. But you know, in a healthy, if you were to be engaged and really investing, because you invest in a career, you had to study so many years to do a job well and to be accredited to, you know, studying 5 years plus to be a psychotherapist. Yet we enter a marriage without being prepared.
It's true.
So and then we want to fix when it's already too late. And you know, sometimes it's not too late. It's good to seek help anyway. Even if the marriage is broken, so it's still the healing for you. And,
exactly. As individuals, you can move forward.
You go on. If we don't take those steps to get to know ourselves and do the healing, you know, and the healing might be just having time for you. It doesn't have to be all therapy. There are different ways, you know. It might be being in your community, being in nature. Community is very important. You know, when you find your tribe and you feel you belong, not just fitting in.
And I was going to say, because that's hard to do, isn't it? And as we get older, we tell ourselves things that restrict us from entering spaces because we've decided, oh, that's not for me. But we don't know.
But I'll give you an example of community and how powerful it can be. The Pink Link. Do you know, it's a networking group. You go there with an aim. You want to get to be known and meet other people and take your business off, you know, to another step, another level. That's the goal. But what does the trick is to see the mirror, other women empowering each other. It's supporting each other's words of encouragement. It's being able to sit there and tell them what you do, what you bring to the table, and being witnessed. That's very, very healing and powerful. You know,
and you're sort of embodying it through osmosis, aren't you? Just by sharing space.
You feel the energy. You know, you feel So that's one example of how community, and you know, it might not be Pink Link for everyone. But
there will be something.
There will be something, and it can be really scary. Some people don't like groups, don't like, you know. I think I lost the question. What was the?
I was going to say photosynthesis then. not photos. I was on the osmosis path. Psychosynthesis.
Well, we're all part of this, isn't it? We are all part of the
We are.
unifying center.
I'm going to think I'm David Attenborough, so we better bring me back.
Exactly.
So psychosynthesis, I was saying, so if I walked into your office, what does that look like?
So it's for me to make a choice to put any preconceptions I have and open you with an open heart. But also what I want to offer to my clients is an experience of being seen and being witnessed and compassion. So there might be like let me think of an example that I won't expose any clients.
We don't want any exclusives like that.
So it might be someone who is in a relationship with a family relationship, not with a romantic one. And this person might feel not valued or not seen, you know. And when they come and share the experience, I can, just by mirroring back and in a way that they believe, they feel that they matter, and offer different perspective of their experience, and so they can declutter all that, you know, or get rid of all that noise and just be with themselves and access their feelings. And it may not happen straight away. Some clients come and they are ready, you know, willing to talk. Some clients, they talk very little when you ask, you know, first consultation, I asked about history, so I have a base to how you grew up, how was your experience, do you have siblings? So it can be quite telling, for example, if you're the youngest child or the oldest, you know, the responsibilities, how that impact you, the way you live your life, you know. If you're the oldest, are you the youngest or the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
So being the youngest, how do you feel like, do you get your voice across? Do you feel your needs? Are you infantilized? Do you have to be the good girl and the sweet one? So what does it mean being the young?
In that family dynamic.
In that family dynamic. So what time, when you were little, was your family going through some financial difficulty, or your mother got ill? So these things, you know, that's when the subpersonalities start being formed.
Right. The subpersonalities, like, for example, if you have like OCD traits and you want things, and I'm not talking, I will change the OCD traits. Like if you want things to be ordered, because it's not about diagnosis, but if you want things to be on your way and you believe your way is the right way, so you might trace that back from a time when you were a child that you felt very unsafe, and that was the way you could have some level of control. So it's not because we're analyzing that, but it's easier if I hold that, if I offer to my client that bifocal perspective. This is you now, and this is you as a child. So you might struggle to have compassion for yourself now, but if you think about the 7-year-old you who are going through that, and you can really connect with that 7-year-old and have feelings of compassion for her. And so like, that was really tough. No 7-year-old should go through this. And then you can love yourself, and then you release something.
You release something, and then you can be more gentle and understand why, you know, it's your feelings.
So actually the onboarding forms give you a lot of information that we don't really know about, because we're just like, the second child.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But actually there's more to it.
There's more to it, and you know, you think, my siblings, we all born from the same parents, we all had the same upbringing. No, you had different parents.
Exactly.
Each time you're
different people, aren't you?
Different people.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. So when we talk about the higher self, what do we mean?
The higher self, or just the self?
Yeah. Has anyone come to your office saying, I want to be my higher self, Lara? Take me there.
Not quite with those words, but they do say, like, I want to be better, I want to heal, I want to you know, I want to be better for my partner. You know, so rather than for themselves.
So that is proactive, isn't it? There is a recognition that something's off.
No, you have to use your will. So, you know, did you know there's a lot of scammers who tackle therapists? Really? So sometimes you get, yes, it's shocking. I get emails from someone, David Johnson person, so, you know, like names that
just
random
public.
names, and then they say, oh, I'm looking for a therapist for my daughter, for my mother-in-law, and you're the best one in the area, and you're the only one. I said, well, ask her to. The first time I answered, I said, can she contact me? Can they contact me?
Yeah, let them.
So, and then I realized that it was I got few emails, and then I asked other therapists, and this is quite a common thing.
Really?
So it's absolutely necessary that your will is engaged. You're the one who chooses to do. No one is doing it for you, and I'm not going to do it for you.
No, exactly. It's not going to happen then, is it?
So you do.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
But anyway. People have time.
So that's a red flag, you know. And you see, so if I'm contacted to book therapy for someone else, no, someone else has to contact me. So you absolutely need your will to, and you see, so like the clients who are ready, you don't need to send a reminder for them. They show up. They do the work. They commit. You know, and they don't cancel sessions. That engagement is necessary. You know, you cannot expect, otherwise you come with not intention to change. If you expect someone else to save you.
I get that. What kind of tools do you use? Like, do you have forms or things, homework that you give people?
So, I love your questions. I had Russian dolls, but I changed for nesting dolls because I don't think it's politically correct to have Russian dolls anymore. But if you think about this, one thing I use, I don't use many tools. One tool I use with the nesting dolls, I can show the client how the self shows. Like, for example, the shame I don't have I'm here to show you. So the biggest doll is the self. And all the others are the parts of you. So it can be your critical self, your people pleaser. People pleaser is very common. Because we learn to get love from adapting.
Smile at everyone.
Smiling. What gives us brownie points when we were children. We keep repeating. So you have the other ones, and then I can demonstrate to the client how the small parts try to pretend this is you, but how you connect, who you know, that self, the bigger doll, being on the driver's seat. So you can. So this is the CEO. Like let's use that analogy better. So if you think about a company, the biggest, the tallest doll being the self or the CEO. So they are in charge. The other ones are working for them, and they used to work really hard to protect them. But they sometimes take over, but they are not in charge. So they have to know they are not in charge. So that's one tool I use.
That's a really good analogy. I like that. I'm the CEO of my life.
Yes, or you're in the driver's seat, or you're the conductor of the orchestra. That's a good one as well.
Yeah, that is a good one.
So you have to be all
all over the different parts of yourself and keep it in check.
And I do guided meditation as well. So sometimes it's spontaneous according to what is coming up to the client. If they are struggling to self-regulate, if they are a bit anxious, sometimes, to ground them, I can offer some guided meditation, like 5 minutes. And there are some specific psychosynthesis meditation that you walking in the woods. It usually involves the guided meditation. So people can access the subconscious through the meditation. Not every client is open to it. So sometimes if I see that it can be useful, I offer. And most of the clients say yes, but some of them say, like, actually, no,
not interested. That's
which is
fair
fine.
enough. Exactly,
because it is about them asking what they need. I'd rather them say no than say what they think I want to hear.
That makes sense. You just reminded me, actually, you're a trained yoga instructor, aren't you?
Yes,
and sound
healing. So this is another tool, but I don't use in my psychosynthesis practice. But the yoga is amazing. The yoga and sound healing, I absolutely love. It's like my baby. So at the moment, I teach 3 private groups, elderly. I teach in a nursing home for a group chair yoga, and I teach in a residential home for retirement, residential home in Grange, and so I adapted. I've been a qualified yoga teacher for 10 years, but it was always like something I did on the side, apart from, my nursing career being the main thing. But now I love it because I do a lot of it's chair yoga, but I connect a lot with the breathing, and I bring elements of psychosynthesis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like one example is, when we do these, like we open the cactus and then we hug ourselves.
Yeah.
I invite them sometimes to hug their inner child. Or the child they were once.
Oh, that's lovely.
So it brings them to connect.
I might go home and do that. Yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah. And then once a month, we had yesterday actually, and then once a month we have coffee and tea after.
Yeah.
And then I use like an element of, so yesterday, for example, there was one new lady, and then I invited, so she didn't know the other participants. And I invited them to say their name and something they are proud of or ashamed of.
Oh, okay.
And ashamed of was for us to hold them with compassion, not to shame them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most people shared something they were proud of.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice because the group knows each other already. So it's a very healing and, community vibe. So, and it was a really good way to welcome the new person, as she felt she could see through the soul of each person. It's something personal.
Yeah.
So my yoga and sound and the gong is like a deeper way to get into meditation for people who struggle to meditate. It just takes you there quite.
As in, because you're focusing on the sound of the gong.
Yeah. I can offer you a session.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah,
I actually found the voucher you gave me in 2024.
Oh my goodness.
Or 2023.
Yeah, let's book a date. You come for a session.
I'd love to. Yeah, that sounds ace. I love like sound baths and all that kind of stuff. It's just amazing how it sort of vibrates through your body and with your breath.
It is. Have you done it sound healing?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So this is tools, and then during the yoga classes I encourage them to find those spaces because you can't rely just on once a week session you do it together. How do you have that curiosity about yourself? But then I can be more proactive than in the therapy, because in the therapy room, the client has to feel that they are empowered. They can, so like CBT, for example, would tell you do this, do breathing exercise. Cognitive behavior therapy would tell you tools. So, but my clients, they might not want the tools. They come to be listened and to how to be met with compassion and also the element of will, where they are and how they can take a step further, because you can stay on the story and the whatever is going on, but how can you do one small step towards your healing or moving forward in your life. But in the yoga and gong, I can offer tools because it's a different.
So have you got clients who then transition to become yoga students, or?
Not really, because I have close groups. Because my focus is on the therapy. So the yoga groups is something I enjoy doing, and is my gift to the community.
Oh, that's so nice.
So it's something that I'm not focused on like
as a career thing.
As a career thing. It's something that I feel I have to do for my personal development as well. So I may think I'm helping them, but I'm helping myself.
You're getting practice out of it as well. So psychosynthesis, what's next for your psychosynthesis? Have you finished training?
So I finished, I'm about to finish the counselling part. So I'm just submitting everything. I just need the okay. So I'm already practicing, because you practice under supervision. So I see clients privately in my consulting room in Ulverston. But I'm under supervision. So which means if I have a new client or all my clients, to every 6 sessions, I discuss I discuss some aspects of my relationship with my client with a supervisor, qualified supervisor from the Institute of Psychosynthesis. So which is useful. All therapists do that, but as a trainee, the requirement is more strict. So it helps to see the bigger picture and see, to be supported. So I'm about to finish now the counselling part.
I'm going to pause you there. Look at that. It just took my breath away. So is this where you go swimming?
Yeah, it's a bit further where I go swimming. Okay. Here's a bit muddy.
This is beautiful.
But it's lovely, isn't it?
Goodness me, I'm sorry to interrupt you as you started talking, but this is stunning. Look how still the water is today. It's a little bit cold, isn't it? Well, I'm kind of feeling cold, but...
And it's quiet as well, isn't it?
It is. So nice. You can just hear the water. Oh, how lovely. Okay, back to you.
And the other one,
Supervisors.
Yeah. So, and then I carry on another academic year. So I'm going to the 5th year now to qualify as a psychotherapist.
Oh, okay.
So it's more in depth, the depth of complexity is a bit deeper.
Sort of always worked in healthcare, I guess, whether that's physical healthcare or mental healthcare. How do you protect yourself from the things you're seeing and not take it home, or take it home but heal from it, I guess?
Yeah, another interesting question. I wasn't quite aware of that when,
No, not when you started.
When I started, and it's just life, we just carry on.
Yeah.
So we do take things home sometimes. Yeah. It's inevitable. You're human. And my last job in nursing was in a nursing home, so you get more attached to people because you know them. Yeah. Working as a nurse there, you know them for a long time is different than in hospital. Hard. They come and go. Yeah. So when someone dies, it touches you deeper.
That is hard.
So I have a faith. And it helps me. Yeah. Spiritual practice helps me. And it has changed over the years. I grew up as a Catholic and I rebelled against, I walked away from religion, thinking the patriarchy, all these things. Then I, got into philosophy, and which is not a religion, it's philosophy, but but Buddhism. Yeah. And I went to India to do yoga courses. And so I experienced different religions and philosophies. Yeah. But since I moved to Grange 3 years ago, a bit before that actually, I've been going to church more. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I thought I made peace with the things I don't like about the religion, Christianity as a religion, as a woman. Yeah. But I believe in Christ, and I think he's wonderful. He's, so I pray.
That's amazing.
That's one thing.
That's quite a journey, isn't it? Yeah.
Coming back to the roots as well, where I was from. And Brazil is quite a religious country in very controversial ways, but it's another story. So praying and having a faith helps. But also I journal. Okay. And my yoga practice is very important. It's a cleansing process. I really notice the difference when I don't do it. And funnily enough, wasn't the first thing I said because it's so ingrained in me. Yeah. So this is just what I need. I feel it. I feel tired. I feel more emotional if I don't practice yoga.
That is part of you every day. Yeah.
I don't do every day. Okay. I do
but it's
4 times a week.
Into you. Yeah. To know so, but that
at least a little. Sometimes I just do some stretches. But and the other thing is my journaling practice changed recently when I interviewed Molly Brown, who is a famous personality in psychosynthesis. Oh, okay. She's in her 80s, and she was a student of Roberto Saggioli.
Oh, okay. Wow.
In Italy. Yeah. And she said one of the things he suggested was to write letters to God.
Oh, really?
So I used to journal, but sometimes my flow wasn't quite. And I started doing what she suggested from that she learned from him. So I write my journal like if I'm writing letters speaking to God. So it just opens up my intuition. Yeah. Things come that I didn't really thought it was quite.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So there has been, and I do like the journal I'm doing now is a creative one. So I draw as well, quite freestyle with crayons on the top of the writing. So this is quite new. I've been doing that for the past 6 months. Okay. But if the creative part and specifically to God, but it's my favorite kind of journaling so far.
Oh, amazing.
But the self-healing, the self-care practice changed. Sometimes if I come from a difficult shift, I communicate to my husband, look, I had a tough day. We just sort dinner out. And can I have a bath? I'm a shower person. Yeah. But sometimes I get some Epsom salt, and I know this is what I need.
Coming,
So, you know, we're not always able to have something more complex or go for a walk.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But there are things you can do quite soon. You can, you know.
And also that's a good cue for the people around you. Is that actually
asking for what you need?
She's not had a good day because she's having a bath. Yeah.
So and I can see the tendency sometimes. You know, you had a stressful day and you come, I need a glass of wine, and I do that as well. Don't get me wrong.
In the bath.
In the bath. Or a glass of champagne. There is one. Sometimes it is like, can you put the champagne? Yeah. No, that's I'm not that posh, but I have a really good source of champagne that's quite affordable.
Oh, okay.
Champagne from Aldi.
Oh, from Aldi,
the Monsignor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aldi is like the best.
Yeah. So...
Actually, I'm going to Kendal on Friday. I might swing by.
I ditched Prosecco after I found out.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll definitely.
So this wasn't supposed to be self-care and healing tips, but
and
also.
I'll do Prosecco, not Prosecco champagne.
So it might be as simple as asking for what I need. Then you know, can I eat a healthy meal?
Yeah.
Or can I treating myself? Yeah. Sometimes giving myself a reward. I don't want to advertise like spending money as a as a healing, but you know, if you do it with a purpose, and if it's a ritual, rituals are quite powerful ways of healing, you know.
Yeah, and it's nice to sort of, I think we forget to gift ourselves and say thanks to ourselves, like you've done really well today.
Yeah,
well
exactly.
done. You've been nice to everyone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good point, you know, to say, oh, you did your best today and you smashed this. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a choice, isn't it? We all have the choice to, oh, wow, this is beautiful. Like you just come up this bit and suddenly your face.
This is my favorite. I like the one we stopped before, but I love this.
This is stunning. So you just come up this little path and it's just there.
So we go for swimming just on the side there.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lara, I can see why you love it.
Are you from this part of the world? You?
Yeah. Oh, I lived in Ulverston for a long time. Well, a long time for me, which is like 3 or 4 years. I used to work in Barrow, and so Ulverston's just beautiful. I love it. I love the town. I love the people, all the festivals. So I know the area quite well. But in terms of walking, I tend to go.
Yeah, so I'm pleased I showed you something you didn't know.
Well, you know, I tell everyone, like, this whole podcast is very self-serving because I get to do loads of new walks.
That's a good way to see.
Yeah, and take them off, and this is just beautiful. What were you going to say before I interrupted you? Because I was saying about saying thanks to yourself, showing yourself a bit of gratitude.
Yeah, I think you pointed something really important, is to have the kind words to ourselves. You know, you could be the kindest person ever to your best friend and who you be friend. Beyonce, sorry. Beyonce.
Obviously.
But can you do the same to yourself?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're very harsh.
How we talk to that inner dialogue is really important, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you do find yourself thinking, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh, you're an idiot. Why did you do that?
And words have power. There's so much power and energy in words. So you have to be really mindful. And even things we say like, oh, I always do this. I'm so stupid. Or, you know, I'm not lucky for whatever, you know. Just even if you don't truly believe, just
you're saying
choose, be selective with your words, especially towards yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's all a choice. We wake up and we get to choose what kind of day we're going to have. What happens in that day is out of our control.
Yeah, but
how we respond to it,
you know, like what we were saying at the beginning, when you get to that place that you communicate with God or the higher self or spirit, you know, you make an agreement. So my intention is this. So the universe is aligned. Okay, so this is what she's up to today. So there's more chance. So you're co-creating. You empowering yourself into the creation of your day and your life. Instead of handling it to,
I love that, co-creating.
Handling it to chance. And, you know, letting it see what happens.
Because actually we're holding the pen, aren't we? So we get to decide that. But we don't, I was going to say accountability, but we don't take that chance.
And there are things we do have control, and I don't even like to say control. So we have an input, we have a say. Another example, how
we're fine.
Another example, not related to exactly what we're talking in terms of well-being, but I guess it is related. Like in the past, we used to believe that our genes, our DNA was the most important thing, and that was set in stone. So if my grandparents had cancer, it's very likely that I'll have, or if my family has a history of diabetes, and now we know that diabetes type 2, for example, is very much down to you, really, you know, preventable, you know, it's not even preventable.
Yes, that's right.
And so
it's your choices.
Now the epigenetics show us that actually even your DNA can change. You can change your genes from the way you think, from what you eat, from your habits. So this is so empowering. Before we just like, that's how it is. And now we know that a lot of it
is really interesting.
Had a predisposition to something, but there is a lot that is in your hands.
This whole thing of you know, the last 3 generations of my paternal side had heart disease. So I'm definitely going to get it. So I'm going to eat all the cakes. Do you know what I mean? It does shape your thinking. So it gets you off the hook, you know, because you just surrender. You're handing your It's going to happen
will.
anyway.
It's going to happen, and then it will. It will. Most likely, you're right. So either if you believe you're right, and if you don't believe you're right.
Exactly. I love that. Well, thank you, Lara. That's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation and the lovely chat. It felt so natural, so organic.
Oh, good. Keep it flowing and keep it moving. I love it. And that is a wrap on this walk. What a conversation. What a lady and what a view. I mean, honestly, High Dam Tarn, you did not disappoint. Thank you so much to Lara for the walk and for being so open, so generous, and so grounded in herself throughout. There's something rare about someone who can speak about the inner workings of the human psyche without ever making you feel like the case study. So Lara did just that, and she just meets you where you are, and it was wonderful. So let me share a few things that are staying with me from today's chat, because there were a lot. The first is the idea that helping others has always been in some way about helping ourselves. Lara said it so simply. I used to think I was helping people, but mostly I was helping myself to grow and expand. I think many of us, especially us who are drawn to caring roles or even just to listening, to showing up for people, we sometimes use that as a reason to not look inward, as if being useful to other people exempts us from the hard work of knowing ourselves. So Lara's done both, and she's probably going to say the two aren't as separate as we think. The second thing is the idea of seeking help before the crisis. She said something that really hit home, that we invest years studying for a career, but we walk into a marriage, into parenthood, into the most intimate relationships of our lives, completely unprepared. And then we only reach for support when things are already broken. I think a lot of us recognize that pattern. I know I certainly do. And then, of course, there's the inner child work, which I'll be honest, going into this conversation, I thought I totally understood until I realised I didn't totally understand it. The way Lara described it, that sometimes we can't access compassion for ourselves, but we can access it for the small child we once were. That's such a gentle way in. It doesn't ask you to be kind to your adult self straight away, which honestly feels impossible, especially on a really hard day. It just asks you to look at your 7-year-old self and feel what you feel and let that be the start. So here are a few questions to take away with you. No pressure to answer them now, maybe just let them walk alongside you for a bit. What story are you telling yourself about who you are? And did you choose it, or did someone else hand it to you? Is there a version of you, younger, softer, or perhaps more frightened, who is still waiting for a little compassion? And when did you last ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? Not what does everyone else need from me, what do I need? If this episode moved you, and I really hope something in it did, please take a moment to leave a review. It does make such a difference to how many people find this podcast, and every single review is read by me. And on occasion, I will turn it into a social media post because, we all love a bit of content. Share this one, please, to someone you know who needs to hear it. Maybe it's the person who never stops giving. Maybe it's the one who says they're fine when they're not. And maybe, and I say this with a lot of love, maybe it's you. Lara's details are in the show notes. Please go and find her. She is brilliant. I'm Sukanya. Thank you for walking with us today. And until next time, keep moving, keep listening, and keep being as kind to yourself as you would be to your very best friend.